Many men who don't understand what it would practically look like to provide containment for a woman would benefit by understanding that containment is essentially to fend for a woman. When a man does not do this, a woman essentially has to fend for herself. To fend for herself is to look after, protect, and provide for herself without help. When a man fails to provide containment for a woman, she ends up feeling like she has to do it all herself and fend for herself. This means a male who lacks the skill of containment inevitably makes a woman feel like she's all alone. Not just all alone, also unsafe, starved of needs, and as if all the pressure is on her. This will make a woman become controlling, anxious, hard, cold, masculine, bitter, angry, and resentful. And again, it's going to cause her mental, emotional, and physical well-being to corrode. If you want to provide containment for a woman, I don't want you to let her, or expect her, worse, to fend for herself. Instead, think about fending for her on a mental, emotional, and physical level. In any situation you get yourself in, think, how can I fend for her in this situation? Do you want to know a sad reality? And no, this isn't an argument you get to make that I'm objectifying women by making this comparison. Most men, many men, take better care of their car that they drive than the woman they are in a primary relationship with. A man who takes positive ownership and who therefore creates containment for his car acts in the best interest of that car. He doesn't let the car fend for itself. Some men rub their car with diapers to keep it clean and protect the paint job. They appreciate the hell out of their car emotionally. They put energy and effort into the upkeep of their car. They keep the oil tank full and rotate the tires and learn all about the engine and lock the car door so no one steals it. And guess what? Doing this actually makes them feel good. So what might providing containment for a woman where she feels genuinely positively owned and fended for look like on a physical level? I'm going to give you a list of examples, but know that there could be so many more. It could look like to energetically put your energy around her no matter where she is and you are in the world. To take responsibility for her well-being, which is the positive form of claiming her. To create safe, supportive conditions and a safe, supportive environment where she can grow and expand, rather than expecting her or encouraging her to grow and expand by virtue of her not having those safe and supportive conditions/environment. To do things that create a feeling of security on any and all levels for her. To provide for a woman in terms of resources. This could be financial or otherwise. To take it upon yourself to create improvement in her life without being asked to do so. To take charge of a situation by taking the lead. To be reachable and available to her, to be initiative relative to her, to be active relative to her well-being instead of passive, to protect and defend her physically, to protect her emotional well-being, to do things like open doors for her, or pick her up in your car, or pour water into her glass, or have her take your arm when walking down the street, to reassure her, to remember important dates and make those dates special, to attune to her mental, physical, and emotional state so that you know what is right to do or not do relative to her specifically. For this, you must put considerable energy into understanding not just women in general, but her specifically. To do things that take pressure off of her without her having to ask. To organize a date with all the details totally under your control. To take charge of logistics. To initiate repair if rupture occurs in the relationship. To put effort into meeting her needs, and wherever necessary, to help find ways for her needs to be met outside of you, to be physically with her, or to make sure she's okay when she is not with you. In other words, to make sure she does not have to fend for herself when you are not around to fend for her. To not put her in lose-lose situations, to not put her in dangerous situations, to deliberately create regular time to be present with her and totally focused on her, to appreciate her, to be communicative and speak your mind as well as to listen to her, to caretake the relationship itself, to be and to act committed to her, to do things that cause her pleasure, to make decisions, especially tough decisions, to take responsibility for your decisions and actions, to figure out what needs to get done and actively get those things done, to take responsibility and initiative for facing and resolving problems you might become aware of or things you might need to heal within yourself, to provide containment for any children you might have together and or she might have from another man, to be in your masculine energy and power, to help her face the parts of herself that are resistant to being contained rather than to simply stop giving her containment when she resists it. Now keep in mind, now that you have heard this very long, yet definitely not complete list, that it's not a really good idea to think about all of these things and to just try to memorize them and do them. The best way to go about this is to just simply decide to take positive ownership and to provide containment for a woman. When a man does this naturally, because containment is actually natural for the masculine, all of these containment providing things naturally come as a result of making that decision. In other words, because it's actually second nature, the minute you make a decision to actually become a container for a woman, it's not like I need to tell you how to do it. In the past, there used to be a saying, "Over the mysteries of female life is drawn a veil best left undisturbed." Sorry to tell you, but that's complete BS. And if you want to provide actual containment for a female, you're going to have to throw that concept straight in the trash can. Because in order to actually provide accurate containment for women in general, you're going to have to understand as much as you possibly can about women in general. And in order to provide containment for a specific woman in your life, you're going to have to understand her to the best of your ability. Going back to the car analogy, which is so helpful for many men. Providing containment for and taking positive ownership over a Ferrari is quite a different experience than taking positive ownership and therefore providing containment for a Ford Taurus. Women are very much the same in many ways, but they're also very different in many ways. So it's very important to put the effort into understanding women in general and the woman who you are with. To learn more about this, you can watch my video titled "Stop Trying to Love Them and Start Trying to Understand Them." So, women, now is the time for you to face and resolve the resistance that you have to actually being provided containment by a man. To the other side, men, now is the time for you to face and resolve your resistance to providing containment for a woman. As you do this, I need you to keep something seriously in mind. Containment has absolutely nothing to do with being controlled, being oppressed, being limited, or being looked down on. And in fact, if a man adds any of these things to your life, he's not actually providing containment for you. Quite the opposite, because those things are not actually in your best interest, and thus he's not in alignment with positive ownership. Now, a lot of you have been getting upset when I do relationship videos about men and women about how straight focused instead of homosexual focused I am. I'm going to throw you a bone today. Containment is still something that's needed in a homosexual relationship.